afternoon. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, President Bongbong Marcos set to sign the 6.35 trillion peso national budget for next year on December 30th. Last-minute shoppers hit the stores ahead of the Noche Buena feast tonight. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton is hospitalized with fever. And more celebrities throwing their support behind Blake Lively in her high-profile lawsuit against It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. It's Christmas Eve. Thanks for joining us today. President Bongbong Marcos is set to sign the 6.35 trillion peso national budget for next year on December 31st or 30th rather. That's according to the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office. Marcos was originally slated to sign the expenditure program last December 20th, but decided to hold it off for further review. He has particularly questioned the decision of Congress to cut 10 billion pesos from the proposed funding of the Education Department. The president said he would find ways to restore the funds. Meanwhile, he earlier defended the move to provide no subsidy for PhilHealth, saying the embattled state insurer has enough reserved funds. People are now doing their last-minute shopping for the Noche Buena feast. Hannah T is at a mall in Quezon City, and she joins us now for an update. Hannah, Merry Christmas to you. Now, what items are shaping up to be the holiday favorites this year?
Merry Christmas! Christmas food packages and fruit cocktails are among the top picks for holiday shoppers. Other popular items include wine, pasta, and of course, traditional ingredients for Noche Buena. According to Robinsons Supermarket, during non-holiday or off-peak seasons, they usually see around 3,000 to 3,200 shoppers per day. But starting from the first week of December, this number has jumped to over 4,000 daily. Right now, the crowd is already starting to build up here at Robinsons Supermarket. Despite this, Robinsons expects even bigger crowds as New Year's Eve approaches, since many Filipinos traditionally prepare more for a prosperous New Year than Christmas. Some shoppers say they opted to buy last minute because their bonuses or 13th month pay just came in. Others say this is the only time they had off from work to do their holiday grocery run. Back to you, Mai.
So there's usually a frenzy at the malls this season, especially the day before Christmas, Hannah. So any reminders for our last-minute shoppers as we count down to the hours before Christmas? I will be one of those shoppers.
Yes, Mai. Actually, Robinson Supermarket say they're still open until 8 p.m. tonight. And tomorrow, despite the holiday, Robinson Supermarket is open also on December 30th and 31st. So they remind shoppers if they can to arrive early here at the supermarket since shoppers flock at around noon. That's it. Back to you, Mai.
Thank goodness the malls are open. Thank you so much. Hannah T reporting. Let's now get an update on the traffic situation this holiday break. Zandro Chona joins us from NLEX Balintawak. Zandro, how's the situation there?
There's a little traffic buildup here at the Balintawak Toll Plaza, but it's not as bad as other holidays. It usually takes about a few minutes of traffic buildup at the toll entrance, but it would ease up beyond the toll gates. Approximately 200 meters of traffic buildup was observed in Lawang Bato, Valenzuela northbound lane because of a stalled vehicle, but this has been cleared up. There was another accident, this time in Mexico, Pampanga northbound lane that caused at least 2-kilometer traffic buildup. NLEX patrol team are already on site to provide assistance to retrieve the involved vehicle. We are yet to get information if anyone was injured in the accident, but several passengers were seen sitting beside what is believed to be a minibus. On the southbound lane, about a kilometer traffic buildup has been observed due to the volume of vehicles. Despite the recorded accidents, NLEX traffic remains light all the way to Pampanga. NLEX management is reminding the public that customer service centers in Balintawak, Valenzuela, Tabang, and San Fernando will be closed on December 25 and January 1. Mai?
So, Zandro, it looks pretty light right now compared to what we usually see dyan sa NLEX. Kailan daw expected ang peak ng mga motorista dyan?
My NX management is expecting the traffic would again build up maybe after lunch as some of our kababayans still went to work half day today. So some of them might be rushing after lunchtime. But beyond that, the NX management is expecting that it would ease up as we inch closer to Christmas Eve. Mai.
Zandro, any reminders for our motorists as they head out, maybe later tonight or tomorrow, may mga magsasara daw, right? Like the customer service centers?
Yes, Mai. So nagpaalala yung management ng NLEX to its customers na ayusin na yung RFIDs nila today because by tomorrow it would be closed. So if there were issues with their RFIDs, it's better to have it fixed now before they rush for the Christmas Eve. So para rin tomorrow, pagbalik nila, diretso na rin yung pagdaan nila sa NLEX. Mai.
So, Zandro, usually one of the causes of the slowdown there at the NLEX ay yung RFID nga. Yan ang complaint ng mga motorista dyan sa gate, no? How are they addressing this?
So basically lahat naman na ngayon RFIDs na, no? Meron din namang nakaantabay para magbigay ng assistance doon sa mga kababayan natin who will be using NLEX. So aside from the automatic toll gates, meron naman ding nakabantay na mga tao para rin masiguro na makarespond kagad doon sa pagdaan ng mga kababayan natin. And aside from that, they're also reminding our kababayans to check their loads before going here para sigurado nga na may load at iwas aberya na rin, Mai.
Merry Christmas to you, Zandro, and your crew, and thank you for that report. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton has been hospitalized with fever. His deputy chief of staff says Clinton was admitted to Georgetown University Medical Center for testing and observation. He is said to be in good spirits and expected to be home by Christmas. Since leaving the White House in 2001, Clinton has endured several health scares. He was last hospitalized in 2021 for 6 days for urological infection. Clinton is 78 years old. Former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz spent tens of thousands of dollars for drugs and sex with women, including with a 17-year-old girl. That's according to a long-awaited report from the U.S. House Ethics Committee. The panel also found Gaetz received gifts in excess of permissible amounts in connection to a 2018 trip to the Bahamas. Gaetz has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, saying he is the victim of a smear campaign. Ahead of the release of the report, Gaetz filed a lawsuit in Washington, D.C., arguing the panel no longer has jurisdiction over him after he resigned from Congress. President-elect Donald Trump previously nominated Gaetz for Attorney General, but he withdrew from consideration amid the controversy. The trial for the suspect in an assassination attempt of President-elect Donald Trump is delayed until September of next year. It was supposed to take place February 10th, but Ryan Ruth's camp sought to postpone it to December 2025, citing the large volume of evidence in the case. A Florida-based judge agreed to a delay but called the defense request excessive. Ruth is accused of positioning himself near a Trump-owned golf course in Florida back in September with the intention of shooting the then presidential candidate. The suspect is facing 5 federal charges and has pleaded not guilty. The man accused of killing United Health CEO Brian Thompson pleads not guilty to murder charges that brand him a terrorist. Luigi Mangione appeared in the New York State Criminal Courthouse to enter the plea. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thompson was shot dead on December 4th outside a hotel in Manhattan. Mangione was arrested at a restaurant after a 5-day manhunt. Israel's defense minister admitting for the first time to the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Iran back in July. Israel Katz made the statement at an event honoring defense ministry personnel. He also issued a warning against the Iran-backed Houthi rebels who has been sending missiles and drones into Israel.
These days, when the Houthi terrorist organization is firing missiles at Israel, I want to convey a clear message to them at the beginning of my remarks. We have defeated Hamas, we have won over Hezbollah, we have blinded Iran's defense systems and damaged the production systems, we have toppled the Assad regime in Syria, we have dealt a severe blow to the axis of evil, and we will also deal a severe blow to the Houthi terrorist organization in Yemen, which remains the last to stand and fire at Israel. We will damage its strategic infrastructure, and we will behead its leaders, just as we did to Haniyeh, Sinwar and Nasrallah in Tehran, Gaza and Lebanon. We will do it in Hodeidah and Sana'a. Whoever will raise his hand to Israel, his hand will be severed. The IDF's long arm will harm him and will settle the score.
In other news, the Dutch are known worldwide for their wooden shoes, but a recent discovery shows just how widespread their use once was. A 500-year-old wooden shoe was found in a cesspit used as a waste disposal from 1450 to 1558. The discovery was made during construction of an underground waste container in the city of Alkmaar. It is the first ever found in the Netherlands made of birchwood.
I'm so excited. This is such a great find because wood is such it's an organic material and it is so vulnerable. And so, you know, that we have this well-preserved wooden shoe, it's just fantastic. So you still can see the form, you can see how it was made. This is not a working shoe. This is really a shoe for a woman or a man, because this size of shoe can be used by men with small feet or by women with large feet. It's actually a normal size in the medieval times.
Over to Croatia, where cavers dressed up as Santas surprised children in hospitals. The volunteers climbed hospital walls and delivered gifts to children who joyfully watched from the windows. Around 500 gifts were delivered at 4 locations, according to the organizers. Doctors say events like this are a joy for children and calm them down.
As for children, when they end up in the hospital due to various illnesses, or for some checkups, it is always a stressful event for them. When they have the opportunity to be happy, when something surprises them in a positive way, and when they are given gifts, it is always a joy and it calms them down, and it makes our job, as doctors and other health workers who deal with children in our hospital, much easier, and in a way it cheers us up too.
Every action goes great and we have a lot of fun as volunteers. The children are happy and don't think about the sad moments spent in the hospital, and I think the medical staff also bring a little happiness to their everyday lives. I think the whole action was a success. We are all happy. We are all celebrating Christmas.
We're taking a break. Still to come, Ultra Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang announces plans to improve services at NAIA. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns. Stay with us.
si Pinky Webb. At ako naman si Corina Sanchez Rojas. Simulan na natin ang agenda.
Yung nawala na 10 billion comes from the computerization.
Government subsidy para sa PhilHealth, umarangkada na. Muugong ang panawagang executive clemency para sa death row convict na si Mary Jane Veloso. Pipilitin daw ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na pirmahan ang 2025 budget bago magpasko. Sa bawat issue, may anggulo at ang balita, may agenda.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Orata and you're watching Basis Points, where we dive deep into the numbers and the stories that drive our economy and shape our world. The Securities and Exchange Commission gets tough on delinquents. 81 billion pesos in smuggled goods seized.
Cash remittances reached nearly $3.1 billion, up 2.7% year on year.
We were able to breach already our year-end target of 200 billion.
This is a new golden age for Bitcoin.
And that's it for Basis Points.
Good morning, I'm Ferdy Salvador.
Good morning, I'm Mikey Orata and welcome to Industry Beacon, where we shine a light on the trailblazers, the disruptors, and the industry leaders shaping our future.
And in each episode, we explore how they're staying ahead in their fields, one industry at a time.
Can bring luxury products, and that the Filipino nurses and the malasakit is really what makes us really good.
Compared to other industries like oil and gas, you can never compete salary-wise.
Industry Beacon on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Beauty, health, adventure. This is for you. Join Marie Lozano, where she uncovers the untold stories and unexpected surprises in the world of lifestyle.
We wanted to create a space where we could dive into these topics not just by talking to experts, but experiencing the topics firsthand. Let me tell you about the Lifestyle Lab.
On BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Rain Musngi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The crypto market climbed over $800 billion. Tech giant Alibaba has announced plans to issue notes. Investors are anticipating a significant downward move for the cryptocurrency. Swift is adding a new chapter to her record-breaking year.
Follow the Money, 10:30 a.m.
Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Always on top.
Good
morning, everyone!
A platter of positivity, a cup of the hottest information, and a slice of what to expect for the whole day. With excitement, positivity, and fun. Join Paulo Del Rosario, Ann Asis Carrillo, and Monique Tuzon.
It's a beautiful day!
7 a.m. on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Back on Newsfeed at noon, traffic heading up to Tagay Tha has been heavy this morning. Let's get an update there from our reporter, Francis Salve. Francis, Merry Christmas. Where's the build-up?
Yes, Merry Christmas. However, as early as 9 o'clock this morning, traffic has already started building up along the Santa Rosa Silang Road leading to Tagay Tha. If you're coming from Metro Manila and decided to drive up to Tagay Tha today for your Noche Buena, aside from food and gifts, you'll need to bring a lot of patience. There's no major problem along EDSA or entering the South Luzon Expressway, but if you're taking the Santa Rosa exit, expect a slight slowdown near the fruit stands along the road. However, if you take the Greenfield exit, the drive remains smooth until you exit the Nubali area. By lunchtime, most parking areas and malls and shopping centers and tourist spots are already full. They also offer laser light and shows in the evening. Though it's still early, there are still many last-minute Christmas shoppers flocking to large depot stores featuring various popular brands of shoes and goods. The real bottleneck, Mai, starts along the Santa Rosa Silang Road right after the Cala X exit. The traffic turns lighter after the Philippine National Police Academy in Santa Rosa and slows down again at Silang Road all the way here to Tagay Tha. According to local police, the volume of vehicles leading to Tagay Tha is expected to increase until later tonight. Tagay Tha's Tourism Council says they are closely monitoring traffic conditions due to the influx of tourists this Christmas season. They are also keeping an eye on Taal volcano activities to ensure the safety of visitors celebrating the holidays here. Most restaurants and hotels are already fully booked, but there are still a few last-minute vacancies for those who decide to make the trip. A tip for travelers, Mai, rushing to check into their hotels today, leave earlier to avoid hassle. Mai?
Safe travel to our kababayans. Thank you for that report, Francis Falve. The country's main gateway is getting a much-needed upgrade thanks to its new operator. Hannah T tells us aside from the upgrades, high prices of food and products will also be addressed.
Major changes await passengers at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA. San Miguel Corporation's Ultra Bilyonaryo and Big Boss Ramon Ang revealed his plans to improve services at the airport. This includes adding seats in terminals to make waiting more comfortable for passengers. These upgrades are targeted to happen next month. High food prices will no longer be a problem, thanks to the planned close monitoring in NAIA. Ang says no one should take advantage of passengers with overpriced products or services. This family from Latvia is now excited to try the food at NAIA, especially with the lower prices. They chose to spend their holiday season vacation here in the Philippines.
We didn't try the food, but everything was really cozy. It would be good if it would be cheaper still, but it's okay right now.
Marlo and his colleagues also welcome this development as they found the food at the airport too expensive. They're set to fly to Saudi Arabia in early January next year.
Malaking tulong sa amin yun para makatipid din po kami.
NAIA is now under the management of the new NAIA Infrastructure Corporation, headed by San Miguel. The airport's operations were turned over in September, after over a decade of being run by the Manila International Airport Authority. Passengers can expect a more comfortable travel experience at the new NAIA, with services focused on comfort and passenger welfare. Hannah T, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
The debt service burden, or DSB, inches up by 16.82% from January to September. Data from the central bank shows it increased to $12.85 billion from $11 billion in the same period last year. The principal of the total debt service burden also rose by 16.82% to $6.93 billion from $5.93 billion in 2023. The national government plans to borrow 431 billion pesos from the domestic market in the first quarter of next year. This as it seeks to front-load borrowings ahead of the May midterm elections. The Bureau of Treasury says it seeks to raise 66 billion from the issuance of treasury bills or T-bills and 365 billion via treasury bonds or T-bonds in the January to March period. In January alone, the government plans to borrow 147 billion domestically, which consists of 22 billion in T-bills and 125 billion in T-bonds. The Philippine automotive market is cruising ahead with new data showing continued growth in car sales. Our mobility correspondent G. Baroga has the full story.
The local car industry ended November on a high note, with total vehicle sales reaching 425,208 units year-to-date, up nearly 9% compared to the same period last year. According to a joint report from the Chamber of Automotive Manufacturers of the Philippines, Inc. or CAMPI and the Truck Manufacturers Association, the Asian Utility Vehicle or AUV segment is gaining significant momentum, with sales surging 37% year-on-year. In November alone, AUV sales hit 7,890 units, marking an 11% increase from October and an impressive 41% jump compared to November 2023. Passenger cars also saw growth, with year-to-date sales rising by 11% to 110,645 units. Commercial vehicles are also accelerating, with an 8% increase in year-to-date sales, totaling 314,563 units. Light commercial vehicles have been consistent performers, selling 229,313 units so far this year. Campi President Romel Gutierrez is confident the industry is on track to hitting its 500,000 sales by the year's end. Gutierrez said the association has observed steady growth in vehicle sales and expects the positive trend to continue into 2025. Toyota of Bilyonaryo T family remained the #1 brand with a 47% market share, selling 10% from last year. Mitsubishi came in second with a 19% share as sales climbed 13% to 81,401 units. Ford held on to third place despite a 10% drop in sales to 25,770 units, capturing 6% of the market. In fourth, Nissan had a 6% share, while Suzuki secured a 4% share to round off the top 5. For BNC Mobility, G. Baroga.
SM Prime Holdings Director Hans C. buys more shares in the family-owned property giant. This after its price inched down to 24 to 25 pesos Thursday, the lowest since the COVID-19 pandemic. C acquired more than 189,000 shares between December 17 and 18 at prices ranging from 25.45 to 25.95 each. He now owns 682.4 million shares in SM Prime, valued at 17.16 billion pesos based on current market prices. Robina Gway turns over the reins as president and CEO of Robinsons Retail Holdings, Inc. to longtime executive Stanley Ko. Gway, who is marking her 40th year in the company, will still be on board as chairman. Billionaire Lance Gway praises his sister and thanks her for a job well done. He adds Robina found a capable successor in Ko. We're taking another breather still to come. A suspect in the fatal burning of a woman aboard a New York train now facing charges. The details after the break. Stay with us. You're back on Newsfeed at noon. Again, the headlines. President Bongbong Marcos set to sign the 6.35 trillion peso national budget for next year on December 30th. Last-minute shoppers hit the stores ahead of the Noche Buena feast tonight. Former U.S. President Bill Clinton hospitalized with fever. And more celebrities throwing their support behind Blake Lively in her high-profile lawsuit against It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. Weather Bureau Pag-asa says the weather systems that are expected to affect most parts of the country during the Christmas holidays are the northeast monsoon or amihan, the shear line, and the easterlies. Joining us on the line for more on the Christmas forecast is Pag-asa weather specialist Danielle James Villamil. Hi Danielle, Merry Christmas! Naku, maulan kaninang umaga. Danielle, ano po ang forecast bukas, Christmas Day?
Good afternoon, Miss Mai, at sa ating mga taga-subaybay dito sa Bilyonaryo News Channel. Patuloy na magdudulot ng mga pag-ulan itong shear line o yung kung salubungan ng mainit at malamig na hangin sa silangang bahagi ng ating bansa, especially nga dito sa areas ng Eastern Visayas, Bicol Region, Calabarzon at sa Mimaropa.
So, minention mo, no, Calabarzon, Bicol, Mimaropa, these are usually the areas na maulan or they get some rains this season. Paano naman po sa may Northern Luzon? Ano po ang forecast dyan?
Yes po, so later in the week, no, so at least for the next 24 hours, ito yung mga lugar na makakaranas ng pag-ulan. Aakyat po yung pag-ulan na dulot ng shear line. So in the coming days, makakaranas na rin ng mga malalakas sa pag-ulan dito sa bahagi ng eastern section ng Northern and Central Luzon. So yan po yung mga areas ng Cagayan Valley and the province of Aurora.
Sir Daniel, ano po yung forecast for the Visayas and doon sa mga areas sa Mindanao naman?
Well, for the next days, unti-unti na mababawasan yung mga pag-ulan sa Eastern Visayas. Pero inaasahan natin makakaranas muli tayo ng mga pag-ulan sa Eastern Mindanao. Dulot yan nitong easterlies o yung hangin na nanggagaling sa Pacific Ocean. So asahan natin itong areas ng Caraga at Davao Region makakaranas ng mga pagulan starting on Thursday and Friday.
Kamusta naman po ang Tropical Depression Romina? I understand nasa labas na po siya ng Philippine Area of Responsibility. Pero hindi na po ba siya nakakaapekto doon sa weather natin? At kung mayroon pa po bang paparating na bagyo?
Yes po, so malayo na itong si Tropical Storm Pabuk na dating ang si Romina. Sa ating kalupaan, wala na itong direktang epekto sa ating bansa. And as for future na mga bagyo, wala pa naman tayong binabantay ang low pressure area o anumang sama ng panahon as of the moment.
Sana maganda ang ating panahon ngayong Pasko. Maraming salamat at maligayang Pasko. Pag-asa Weather Specialist Daniel James Villamil. The National Grid Corporation, or NGCP, under fire from the House of Representatives. Lawmakers accuse the agency of violating its franchise and charging customers for delayed projects. They found 34 out of 37 projects are unjustified. The lower chamber now eyes a review of the NGCP's franchise.
Ang laki-laki na nga ng kinikita nila. Ang laki-laki ng dividendo nila. Hindi pa sila nagbabayad ng buwis kasi nasa prangkisa nila na hindi sila dapat magbayad ng buwis. Kasi lang mahal-mahal ang presyo ng kuryente. Dahil nagbabayad tayo sa mga proyektong hindi pa tapos.
The NGCP urges lawmakers to let them explain its side.
Panawagan lang namin ay magbigyan kami ng patas na pagkakataon para ipaliwanag yung mga na-erase na mga issues kanina, no? Kasi lahat po yan, hindi naman po bago yung mga issues at naipapaliwanag natin. Maraming mga datos na ipinanghahawakan ang NGCP at kung makikinig lang po ang mga kinaukulan, maliliwanagan din po sila.
Santa Rosa City Lone District Representative Dan Fernandez has motioned to summon the NGCP's owners in a hearing. Malacanang and the Office of the Vice President affirmed their commitment to serve Filipinos after a Pulse Asia survey showed a dip in approval and trust ratings for President Bongbong Marcos and VP Sara Duterte. This comes amid the controversies and corruption allegations hounding VP Sara and her office. George Cahiles reports.
Kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta at si Martin Romualdez. No joke.
Vice President Sara Duterte's public image took a hit following this rant in an online briefing with reporters. The latest Pulse Asia survey showed a double-digit drop in her approval and trust ratings. The steepest declines were in Visayas and even in her stronghold, Mindanao. Another survey from Publicus Asia also reported a drop in her ratings. This comes amid a series of controversies she's been involved in, including the congressional probe into the alleged misuse of intelligence funds by her office and the Department of Education, threats to the lives of President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez, a lawsuit filed by police over her attempt to stop the transfer of her Chief of Staff Zulaika Lopez to the Women's Correctional Facility, and multiple impeachment complaints filed in the lower house. Added to this is the Senate and House investigations into the war on drugs during her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte's administration. Vice President Duterte claims these issues are part of a political strategy by President Marcos's camp against her and her family. Political analyst Eric Torre acknowledges that the past months have been challenging for Duterte.
People are actually thinking that how were you able to spend that much, amount of budget in a certain period of time? So it creates basically doubt that affects her credibility as the vice president.
However, Pulse Asia Research President Ronald Holmes believes she may still regain the public's trust.
It would be easier for her to recover that. In the event, let's say, for example, you're looking at 2028, no? That means that there's much more time. Because the other thing that we need to also understand is that the president's numbers are not also good.
Surveys show that the president's approval and trust ratings are also on the decline. Even the numbers of his cousin, House Speaker Romualdez, are falling. According to experts, public perception of the administration's handling of pressing national issues further contributes to these declines. Issues like rising prices, low worker salaries, and persistent poverty remain the top concerns for many Filipinos. Experts say these problems could be used by Vice President Duterte and her allies to challenge the administration.
The Filipino people, I think, we're waiting for that. Okay, what's the roadmap? How do we improve, or how will this administration better improve the quality of the lives of each and every Filipino? So I think that's the more pressing challenge right now on the part of the administration and part of the president.
This is actually a material that Sara could play up, no, or her supporters could play up. But more importantly, this is a ground on which the administration stands that is a little bit shaky. If it's not going to improve, if the prices or access to basic goods and services will remain limited, no amount of financial assistance or ayuda would really alleviate the material condition of many Filipinos, and they might be held accountable for that.
In response to the Publicus Asia survey, the Vice President's office affirmed its commitment to serving the Filipino people with speed, efficiency, and integrity. Vice President Duterte has also declared that she does not shy away from a fight. The palace, on the other hand, seems unbothered by the survey results. Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin said that surveys are not enough to measure the administration's performance and emphasized their focus on improving Filipino lives, the economy, and the country's future. George Cahiles, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
A 33-year-old Guatemalan citizen charged with murder and arson in a crime that shocked New York City Sunday. Sebastian Zabeta was arrested about 6 hours after he allegedly used a lighter to ignite the clothes of a woman on a train in a subway station in Brooklyn. Authorities say there appears to be no prior interaction between Zabeta and the victim. Subway workers and police officers used fire extinguishers to help put out the flames that engulfed the woman, but she was declared dead at the scene. The suspect entered the U.S. illegally in 2018 and was deported days later. It was unclear how and when he came back to the U.S. A bridge connecting two states in northern Brazil collapses. Eyewitnesses were able to take drone footage of the incident that left one person dead. The country's transportation department says two tankers transporting sulfuric acid plunged into the river, spilling its load. This has made the search operations for 16 people missing harder for emergency responders. After the break, a look at the trailer for the upcoming Led Zeppelin documentary. Keep it here on Newsfeed at noon.
BNC's Election 2025 Special Coverage.
Ito po si Father Nono.
Ako po si Father Fiel Pareha.
Ako si Risa Singson Kaupeng.
Kape at pandasal na po tayo. Ito po si Cardinal Chito Tagay.
bawat anggulo ng bawat issue.
9 out of 10 Filipinos ang nais na mapanagot ang mga corrupt officials.
Bawat detalye ng mga napapanahong pangyayari.
September 23 nang simulan ng Israel ang air attacks sa Lebanon.
Tuloy-tuloy na ihahati hanggang Sabado at Linggo. Weekend Agenda. Sabado at Linggo, 5:30 p.m. sa BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel. Your newest source of news and information.
That's it.
Follows you everywhere, every day.
Wow!
Oh, man.
On cable and free TV. Online.
He joins us from the Batasan Commissary.
On mobile.
Simulan na natin ang agenda.
This is BNC, and we are everywhere.
The latest news, national issues, the political scene, and conversations with prominent personalities. All these firsthand at the forefront.
It's still continuing with hearings on the EJ.
But we can recommend the filing of cases with the proper offices or agencies.
It is always victimizing the poor, so we will continue to go against corruption in the budget.
At the forefront with attorney Karen Jimeno, 8 a.m.
It has no authorization.
We hope and pray that it will not.
Thanks for having me here.
Our frustrated
By myself, basically.
We always say that.
It depends.
A well-concerted effort.
Perhaps I can reiterate.
My greatest beefsteak. Iba na, iba pa na yun.
You're still watching Newsfeed at noon. It may be Christmas time, but Hollywood is still abuzz by the high-profile lawsuit of Blake Lively against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. And now, more celebrities are throwing their support behind the actress. The latest, Amber Heard. In a statement released to NBC, Heard said social media is the absolute personification of the saying, "A lie travels halfway around the world before the truth can get its boots on." She added she experienced it firsthand, and it is as horrifying as it is destructive. Lively is accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment and a smear campaign. Baldoni allegedly hired a crisis PR team that amplified negative stories about Lively on social media. Heard's ex-husband, Johnny Depp, hired the same PR team during their defamation trial in 2022. Aside from Heard, Lively's co-stars in the 2005 film The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants also voiced their support. In a joint statement, America Ferrera, Amber Tamblyn, and Alexis Bledel said they stand in solidarity with Lively as she fights back against the reported campaign waged to destroy her reputation. A new trailer for the upcoming Led Zeppelin documentary has been released. Becoming Led Zeppelin explores the origins of the English rock band and its rise to fame in the 70s. It is the first official documentary about the influential group. Here's the trailer.
Got ripped to pieces. People wouldn't even book the band. I got my first drum kit when I was 10.
I was listening to rock and roll coming from America.
Well, that's a sound I would really like to make.
John's wife used to say, "Don't you dare play with that Planty. He's a complete disaster."
I'm going to form my own band, and I know what it is that I want to do with it.
Oh, Jimmy's forming a band. You should give him a call. So I did.
The first time we played together, you could tell it was going to be a good group. It was an electric atmosphere, and that'd have been what I'd been waiting for. Jimmy produced the album.
I wanted it to be something that they hadn't heard before.
The press, who didn't seem to like us.
Got ripped to pieces. People wouldn't even book the band.
Our manager of Peter Grant gets a tour together in America.
We're backstage at the Fillmore, and Peter says, "If you don't crack it here, it's over."
So we were going to go in there like with a hatchet. Everyone knew that was a life-changing experience.
We toured for months on end.
It was a whirlwind.
People are bashing down the doors to get in.
It's just absolutely ridiculous. I was just out there throwing it up in the air.
We just recorded what we liked.
It really dovetailed together.
You're going to be called Led Zeppelin.
And I thought, that's a terrible name. But I couldn't come up with a better one, so Led Zeppelin we were.
That is set to hit cinemas in February 2025. 2025 is almost upon us, and as we count down to the new year, many of us use this time to reflect on the past, the challenges we faced, and set goals for the year ahead. Here's some advice from Recode coach AJ Garcia, who talked to us earlier on Basis Points. Very timely, the discussion today, because we're going to welcome 2025 in a few days, and this is the time where we usually set our goals for next year. So what are the things that we should consider when setting a goal or your life goals?
Right. One of the things that I would ask people when they set their goals, the first one is, do you really want it bad enough? I think the reason why people are not able to set and even achieve their goals is because they don't know if they really want it bad enough. That's the only thing that would set you to success if it's a non-negotiable for you. So I want to share maybe two things, the reason why it's not yet a non-negotiable. It's you want it, but you don't want it bad enough. Two things. Number one is maybe you don't really want it. Maybe that desire, that goal has been passed down to you, or everybody's pursuing it. So it feels like maybe I think it's right to pursue this as well. So it's important to ask yourself, what do I truly want? If I'm just talking to myself, nobody else is listening, what do I secretly want? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel like I would get up each morning and go for it?
So you really have to dig deep for that to know what you really want.
Yeah. I would even say, Mai, there's going to be a lot of shedding, conditioning from the society, from school, your environment, so that you would come back to what you truly desire.
Christmas in the Philippines wouldn't be complete without the songs of the one and only Jose Marichan. The OPM icon's hits, like Christmas in Our Hearts, are anthems during this season. On At the Forefront of the Bilyonaryo News Channel, JMC shares what he thinks the spirit of Christmas truly means.
The blessings in life, and every day of my life, I have the spirit of Christmas in me. And people have asked me, what is the spirit of Christmas? Even in your song, and may the spirit of Christmas be always in our hearts.
Correct.
The spirit of Christmas is giving and sharing. We who have been blessed should share our blessings with those in need. And there's so many out there in need.
JMC also performed a little of his timeless hit, Christmas in Our Hearts.
Whenever I see girls and boys selling lanterns on the streets, I remember the child in the manger as he sleeps. Wherever there are people giving gifts, exchanging cards, I believe that Christmas is truly in their hearts.
Wow. We love JMC. God bless you, JMC. Catch his full interview with Ferdy Salvador on At the Forefront tomorrow, Christmas Day at 8 a.m. only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. And we're counting down to Christmas, and Santa sure is checking his list twice. Father Christmas is now on his round-the-world trip to deliver presents. But before that, he greeted a crowd in Santa Claus Village in northern Finland to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. He then set off on his reindeer-driven sleigh, waving to the crowd as he left.
Hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here on this very important and exciting day. Actually, I think it's impossible to be good and nice all the time. Yes, it's too much to ask. You should just try to do your best, as in all things in life. And if you can be quite good almost all the time, don't worry about the gifts. It's time to relax.
And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Thanks for joining us this Christmas Eve. From all of us here in Bilyonaryo News Channel, have a Merry Christmas. We hope you're having a wonderful and peaceful holiday season.